how to be more creative making games. What I'm talking about creativity. This is the result of my workshops I'm doing there in Europe, specifically Spain. I'm in Spain based now. This is the result of the workshop. I make with programmers and also scripters, both of them in separate faculties. The resume of the things I'm doing with them in order to improve their creativity. It's a very practical speech, not too much theories, you know. Okay, what's my background? I have my own company, I set up my own company, and Colombian and Spanish company, and I was working during around 5 years more or less with Diageo. Diageo is a very good company with a very funny things, as you see here, like Johnny Walker Whiskey and D&D, and I was doing with my team a lot of other games for D&D and Johnny Walker. Doing the profile, I was the project manager and doing things on game design also for this other game. I think they were successful games because when we started to work with Diageo, they had around 30,000 of users in its database on D&D, and when I left my participation in them, they had around 300,000 users, and in the other way, the Walker, they had around 15,000 users, and with ID, they had around 100,000 users. Most of them thanks to the video game we made for the marketing online campaign. We made a nice game in Spain, Formula 1 strategy game. Good luck, Alonso, if you are driving now. We made a Formula 1, everybody knows that when you drink Johnny Walker, you drive better. And then, and now I'm in the middle, it's a joke because they have a very hard policy about that. And now I'm making my research on creativity, art, education, on the Universidad Complutense of Madrid, and I'm one of the owners of the ARSGAMES. There's a non-profit organization about the research of game, cultural aspect, social aspect, economical aspect, where a lot of people, if you want to go in ARSGAMES, you can participate. We're interested, we focus more on improve the games in a Latin American way of thinking. This is my background, a mixing between the companies and a mixing between the academics. Okay, you learn to be creative when you learn to read, because a lot of people say, okay, but you born like an artist, or you born like an engineer, or you cannot be creative when you are doing things, okay, but that's wrong. That's wrong. Ken Robinson, that is a very nice expert of creativity, that's a revolutionary man speaking about creativity, said, completely the opposite. There is not an innate creative, there is not a kind of second nature, there is not a kind of divine gift about creativity. It's another thing. You got to learn to be creative, but you have to believe that you can do it, that you can do that. Okay? Well, where can we find creativity? Can we find creativity? I think everywhere. Even a guy who is a driver could be a creative guy also. And I do 3 things when I'm visiting other countries or other regions in Spain. I ever buy a hip hop CD, a cooking book, and a tales book for kids. It's the 3 things I like to buy when I visit in other countries or other regions in Spain. And this is a very nice example of creativity I found in one of my travels in Poland. But okay, you can buy an English tale for kids. You can buy perhaps a Portuguese. I also have a lot of Portuguese tales also, book of tales also. Maybe French or Italian, I can understand, but I can't understand Polish. It's impossible to understand. And then I said a friend of mine there in Cracovia, I like to buy a game for kids, but I can read it in Polish. And then what can I do? And then they introduced me to this book by Alexandra and Daniel Misielensky, There is some kind of names like Once Upon a Time in Makoto. And you have to make an interaction, do an interaction with the book in order to read. And you have to know, when you have a book of tales, the purpose of this book is to read to your kids, to read your neighbors, whatever. But here, you have been forced to think on the story, because you have to do a path around the book, inventing every time a new kind of history. It's a kind of tool to improve your creativity. It's a kind of tool to improve this kind of innovation. And it's an innovation by the authors also. It's a very nice example.
Minority of dissenters. And they claim Bob Dylan is stealing other people's songs. 2004, Brian Burton, aka Danger Mouse, takes the Beatles' White Album, combines it with Jay-Z's The Black Album to create the Grey Album. The Grey Album becomes an immediate sensation online, and the Beatles record company sends out countless cease and desist letters for unfair competition and dilution of our valuable property. Now, the Grey Album is a remix. It is new media created from old media. It was made using these three techniques: copy, transform, and combine. That's how you remix. You take existing songs, you chop them up, you transform the pieces, you combine them back together again, you've got a new song, but that new song is clearly comprised of old songs. But I think these aren't just the components of remixing. I think these are the basic elements of all creativity. I think everything is a remix, and I think this is a better way to conceive of creativity.
Okay, this is a speech by Kiwi Ferguson in TED. You know, this conference teach. Speaking about, it's wrong to think you're gonna make something new, or you have to protect the intellectual property of other things, or other people, and then you cannot be involved and influenced by them, okay? And then he said, you have to copy, you have to transform, and you have to combine to do new things, to combine and do new things. I changed that, and we are going to see what we can copy, how we can combine, and then what transformations happen to do better games for playing. This is Gonzalo Frasca. He's a very funny guy, very kind guy also. And he said that the other day in Facebook, he said, our brain derives pleasure of solving problems. This is a fact. We need to solve problems to be happy. We need problems. When you are meeting with a friend of you, the first thing is, I have problems. I enjoy that music, but this is my problem. And you need the support. And you need the support. And you need the support to, in a collaborative way, try to solve these problems. Then, Kevin Robinson changed the same. Say, we need creativity in order to solve problems. But what kind of problems game designers have? The problem for game designers, they have to create, they have to design funny problems. This is the main way for every game designer. You have to create a problem that is funny to be solved. And then you game will be successful. The point is, everybody wants to copy things they like. That's because of their personality, no? And then, when I'm on my workshop, I sit with my pupils, and they say, "Oh, I want to do this kind of first-person shooter, like Call of Duty, I'm going to do an StarCraft game. I'm going to do a very complex puzzle." But at the end, they want to go to drink beer with their friends also. They need to have their own life. They have to be more realistic about how to do new kind of game. And overall, where areas you can do good games, because there is more life than paradox for a Steam. There are a lot of ways to influence on the game world. Okay, copy. Copy is where we find inspiration. What we need to analyze where to copy, where the influence is, where
what's happening around us. Copy is about educational.
Whatever you learn from the childhood is copy, is imitating other people. And then we have to copy, to learn things. Then, first of all, we need to analyze where can we copy and where can we offer or give our products of your inspiration also. And there are a lot of spaces, different spaces on this world of gaming. The casual, the social, the gamification, maybe this is on this slide. There are context areas, and there is a map. Which areas can we work with on games? Okay, for example, the casual. We were speaking a lot of these topics about the casual. That's because it's the first year. New kind of mobile platforms, I think, new interfaces, physical interfaces. This is a very nice game I tried recently by mobile. This is another thing made now by Peter Moulinet that we will be released next November 7. This is a very, very simple game called Fruit Ninja. I think most of them play this game. Who played this game? Okay, it's complex, it's simple. If we party, work good, we have all this area. It's a separate area. The other one is social. For me, there are three kinds of social games. The games you play on social networks, the games you play with family or friends in your public space, and the games you play in a multiplayer online role-play game, for example. These are the three kinds of play. I don't recommend you a lot being involved in social network games now, because actually things is going to down. That's the point now. They began last year around $14, and now they are on $2.8 around.
That's not that value.
Okay, this is real. This is not a fake. It was exposed. It was a public exhibition in Media Lab Prado in Madrid. Media Lab Prado is a kind of institution with art, science, and technology are together. No? And every Friday, this game was sold on this plaza. People came from the plaza and they began to play in teams, doing competitions with this game, with this public game. This public game was made by Marcanet collaborated with us in a couple of workshops about research on video games and technology. And it's a kind of market also. Almost when you are living in a country which is in love of the mapping. You know the mapping? And you take a building and why don't we can do something like that, like playable urbanism, when you have a lot of spaces to do here in Brazil? Or this another marketing campaign by Sulcerius, an alternative reality game for a campaign for Batman, Dark Knight, played by millions of people in the States, in Britain, and also in Australia. But you have a lot of technologies to do things like this. Reality Fight, it's a reality game augmented reality. The same company which made the Invisimal. Did you play Invisimal? It's a very successful game there in Europe and sell a lot of PSP. That's the concept. And you can learn a lot, copy a lot of things to improve your creativity from the board games also. Because they're social, very social at all. Okay, gaming the system, gamification. Gamification exists from a lot of time. But this is an example of gamification. This is a gamification of a sport. This is a gamification of a research about molecules called Foldit. That is a successful game, play a multiplayer game in order to find, for example, things to fix art. But it's gamification also when you have your Nintendo 3Ds and then it's checking your path in order to know if you have the console here and give you some gift.
The boat pumps water to the power tower through the use of a handle. It teaches children how working together can pump the water faster. Once all the water is in the upper reservoir, the children can release this water to generate electricity for a water show that involves bubbles, lights, and music. This teaches children about the principles of energy storage.
This is a game, this is a project by Fan Theory, and they are capturing the energy produced by kids playing in the playground, taking all the energy and put on a train around the playground. It's a kind of gamification of the environment also. And we can do things about that. Okay, this is the areas we can influence and we can be influenced by also. Then, we know now where to copy and we need to know now what to copy. With my pupils, I'm working all the time with indie games. I focus on indie games because I find a lot of inspiration from these indie games because for me it's one of the most experimental fields of making games now. And then I have my list of making indie games here, and I invite them to play this game. I think you know most of them. There are a huge variety of game sites here. Because for example, Steam is almost a text-based game, and Closure is like a puzzle, and the Unicron of Death is like an arcade. But I put them on a website. They go to the website, and then we start to play this game. And they have to do two things. They have to vote for the best game, and they have to say why they think this is the best game for them. And the winners are this. It's very weird because Dysphoria is a game about a girl who wants to be a man, and then she's in a transformation process of being a man. And then for developers, they say that's the worst game. But for the scripters, it's the best game. So it's very funny that one. Then these are the things they are thinking about the game. About Closure, for example, they are thinking it's a very nice puzzle concept, has a very good rhythm, and has also a very nice combination, elements of combination. This game is now released on PlayStation 3. You can, but I put the free-to-play QRR if you want to play on the internet. This is the Dysphoria that I was talking about before. They say this is an emotional gameplay. I was involved in a history that I was not interested in. Because the game has a very personal history and it's this kind of visual, graphic, absurd and crazy visual graphic aspect
like a very crazy game from the 80s.
Here is another crazy thing, the dead unicorn of death. That's weird also because you associate you link the unicorn concept to kind girls and things like that. And now it's a very ugly unicorn. And they say the same. It's up to, it has a very string action, and it's a kind of joke by the developer.
And that because that's funny.
In the opposite way, I think, Flow, what you know, it's a very aesthetic experience. Perhaps the same way that Julie is. It's a kind of gameplay, smooth feelings.
I feel relaxed with this game. Auditorium.
This is a sound-centered game. It's only because of sound. And they say that point. We like because it has audio gameplay. It's the only thing. Because they want to this game. But it's important also. The very well-known Caravan, but it's put by it's a character there. You have to push only one button to jump, and that's you have to collect these medals. Going. It's easy to use. This is the favorite game for developers. It's very addictive. Only pushing a button. It's a very simplicity concept, and it's a straight situation also. This is a very nice concept. Run. You have 10 seconds to do everything Jesus did when he was here. And they said that you can learn a lot about Jesus. It's a one button also. It's easy to use. It's a very simplicity concept, and it's like a joker by the developer also, and it's very funny. It's a guy from Italy, born in Industria. He has a lot of very critical games, a lot of funny games also. And the other one is the last one is Small World. I think you know also. That's because it's only about exploration. There's not a gameplay to kill anyone or interact with nothing. It's only about exploration. It's only about walking around. It's a gun gameplay also, and it's a nice aesthetic experience. Why do I do this with my pupils? Because when they start to make games, they don't ask themselves about what they want on their games. They only do games. They only make games. They only are thinking on strategic games, Castlevania, Mario Bros. But what inside these games? Then you have to do this kind of analyze. And then I say to them, do you have to stay on your case? And then I'm like, no, they didn't think about that. And it's very important then. Take 1, 2, or 3 of these things in order to make a different game with your own personality, with your own character. That's the first question to do a game. What we wanna put into my game. Okay, the other question. It's very difficult to do also. To combine. How to put it together. Okay? I have a game idea, I have a problem, a funny problem to be solved. I have 2 or 3 things from my favorite games, and then how to put all together. Okay, we're gonna see some samples about how to combine. I know what to copy, and I want to know how to combine. Then the same, we have to analyze other samples, other games that are mixing gameplay elements. Okay, I'm in love with this game, even when it's not working properly here on my machine. But it's one of the most beautiful concepts I ever seen in game. It's from Dust. Someone knows this game? Nice. with the deer and rodents, all that kind of stuff. What's inside this game? What is different in this game?
This is an approximation, okay?
It's not like a scientist thinks about how percent of things is inside the game, but
It's an approximation. I have an artist mind, not a scientific mind. Remember this.
then it's a 50% of castles playing. You can be a 16 years old guy, a 10 years old guy, or 15 years old, or 50 years old guy. When you are going to the beach, you are going to do a wall to stop the water. Or doing a hole or whatever. It's a 50% of puzzle, more or less. Because it's not only to stop the water. You have to build civilizations. You have to protect them. You have to combine different elements to survive, for survival.
And it's a 20% of a classical game also, Populous.
What kind of influence this game has from the
Physical game, the puzzle concept, and a classical game also. This is a very, very popular game made in Spain. I think you know also. It's a very, very successful game there in Spain.
I'm very proud to say made in Spain because it's not too many times
There's not too many times to say that. Okay, which are the influence? What do you think about the influence of this game?
Can't try. Or soccer. It's in the name. No. Okay. Soccer. The game. Sorry? Zombie horror survival at all, of course. Okay, we're trying to put here most of the most important things I think. It's influence in a gameplay content, okay? Not only culture or whatever. But most of the team of this project was working on plant versus zombie. That is natural. They're gonna cope the things from the job before. It's angry bird also because you have to kill, launching, okay? And Mario strikes. Because you're using the sugar to kill
The zombies, to kill the monsters.
no one noticing.
It's not fun, it's killing. Okay,
It's a similar situation with the Soccer Zombie Apocalypse Edition. Because no one made a game, a first-person shooter game before. But they want to improve. They want to do better their first game, their first-person shooter game. But now they were influenced by cultural aspects, mixing all together the alien film and everything film. And I'm not inventing, I'm not imagination about this stuff. John Carmack said, okay, we take Wolfenstein 3D, we take Alien, we take Alien Death, and put it all together. It's like a mutant. It's a mutant. Perhaps that's the reason for the success of Doom. Okay, Boom Blocks. It's a nice sample because when I listen about Steven Spielberg doing a game, immediately I thought, okay, he's gonna do a roleplay game, an adventure game, something like that. But I was completely wrong because they made this game. He was the creative artist
on this game, the creative director on this game.
This question is easy. What kind of influence, you think Boom Blocks has? Yeah, I think it's the right answer. A Jenga, exactly. A Jenga. Mixed with sport. Why? Because they understood completely well the function of the Wiimote and combined with another concept, Jenga. But for me, Boom Blocks has only a bad thing, a wrong thing. Because Jenga is played in the bar, and when you're drinking beer, the difficulty level go up.
Then you have to drink beer also when you play Boom Blocks. I recommend you.
Okay, Motor Hill. Another game made in Spain. Very nice look, style, you know? But very, very easy way of playing. You can play on your Xbox. It's on the Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah. It's very easy to know what's the inputs also. Wipe out.
Because they're steady, because the concept of going quickly, speed. And very old electronic devices. I think people young like me were playing when we were kids. It's a very easy concept of going left and right, avoiding the other vehicles coming to you while you are overtaken. Okay? And then here are samples of how to combine 2 or 3 ideas in order to make a very, very nice gameplay concept. Because most of the time we are putting a lot of things. We want to mix every of our favorite games, and it's a complete mistake.
I see. There are a lot of tools
to help us to make a better combination. I recommend you to take a look of these cards from the Faculty of Art of Utrecht. The game sheet, that's the name, game sheet, upper left. And now the price of the cards is better than in the past. It's a kind of cards, and you have to play in order to make game concepts all the time. And this has been very nice because they are helping you to speed up your mind in order to make these concepts. Because you cannot take the first idea you have to do a game. Then you have to flexibility. You have to improve your flexibility in your mind in order to do more and more game concepts. Around 10 game concepts, and they say this is the better game concept. I'm going to work on this concept, not in the other ones. But it's easy to be in love of an idea. This is a danger. Transformation. For me, if you do the copy in a nice way, if you do the combine in a nice way, then transformation just really happens. We saw things we decide to copy, the way we decide to combine. Both things reflect our personality, because it's me who I'm deciding what to copy. What are my influences? What is my background? I decide the way to combine. More percent of this, less percent of this. Then, if you want or not, you are putting your personality on the table. But this is the moment of the simplicity. Why I'm speaking about that? Because I have a lot of students who are thinking in too much big projects all the time. I see the same. Think in a concept, think in a game, and do the hard piece. They have to present, they have to make this project at the end of the courses. They have to finish without bugs, with a very nice aesthetic way. And most of them abandon nice idea because they think they can do a very, very, very big project. And you have to simplify your projects. You have to beat this process of simplifying. I prefer Garfield than Snoopy. I'm more with cats than dogs, but I love both of them. Okay? But this is a very, very smart sentence by Snoopy. The happiness is on simple things. Perhaps putting all together, but in simple things. And he said that just before going to play Tetris. This is a very nice concept, that's a very simple concept of game. But it was a revolution, Tetris. This is a bit taken the last time I was here in Brazil. Wow. I'm finishing, I promise you. When you ask people outside Brazil about the Brazilian food, they say, the table is filled of things. It's like a very complex table with a lot of things. But for me, it's very simple because they are not very processed meals here. You have fruit, you have the meat, you have the rice, cooked rice in a very simple way. But putting all together, putting these simple things, you can do a better thing, a complex thing, and enjoy it.
A você fica no país da mistura. Então, tem que aproveitar, né?
Another aspect, another cultural aspect that I think is helping Brazilian people to do better games is the gambiarra. You have this kind of gift for mixing. You have this kind of gift to solve problems and to create also, I know. But you have a lot of nice samples to solve this problem in a creative way with simple things. This is a pinball. I take this photo. I took this photo on the Fire Festival in São Paulo, and it's a pinball made by things the artist found on the street. No more. It's a very nice gambiarra concept.
I like a lot of gambiarra words.
Nice. And what did you? I know this is a kind of very complex thing here in Brazil. I know that.
But for me, taking
it's easy to say that, okay?
But for me, the Jogo do Bicho is a kind of hacking act. Because the Jogo do Bicho, and I read a lot, I invite you to read about the Jogo do Bicho. Because it's a very, very nice concept. With the problem, okay, I know. But in the middle, it's a very extreme situation here in Brazil. In the middle of the transition from the monarchy to the republic, in the middle of the crisis do encilhamento. ¿Qué es una crisis? That is a crisis very similar, very similar with the same attributes than the crisis we are suffering there in Europe. When people have nothing, a guy who had a zoo created this game in order to say it's true, and he did say his true. It's about motivation. This thing. It's about how to change the situation around us using a game. And I don't see something like Jogo do Bicho in any country. In any country. It's a very revolutionary concept. Most because Jogo do Bicho and Samba School are completely connected. And that's what Henry Jenkins said about Samba schools. Samba schools are the model for the new technologies and new media schools. Because people came to the Samba school studying everything, studying cooking, studying knowledge, dancing around, being happy. And that's the content for the future of the schools. And cannot escola do samba, que tem a relação com o jogo do bicho. And then I invite you to read deeply about the jogo do bicho, because there is more things that we can read on papers or whatever, you know. It's a kind of picture of Brazil. You have to think it's seen by a foreigner, you know. I was only 3 times here. I'm in love with this city and this country also. We have a huge inspiration here in this country because you have a lot of problems to solve. You have a very, very rich culture. Many things happening here just right now. People is doing experimental things on economical ways. There are things experiment on cultural ways also, digital ways, genetic ways at all. You have things here that no one got. One time, when I back the last time when I back to Spain from Brazil, one guy asked me, what can I say about Brazil? And then one thought came to my mind, and it was like this. Because for me, the moment we are living just right now, Brasil é a última fronteira da realidade humana. And this is very serious, because we are suffering a lot of problems in Europe. A lot of people are suffering, a lot of problems in Africa, in Asia, even in North America. There are a lot of people suffering a lot. And I think here in Latin America, this very, very young continent is happening a lot of things. And a lot of eyes is looking here. For finish the presentation, remember, copy, analyze a lot your favorite games, and even your not favorite games, and trends, and think what things do you want to copy. Combine the second one. Take things you like from your favorite games and mix. But mix a lot without being scared. Be brave to mix a lot. Get a lot of ideas. Putting all together, just simplement the transformation happens. And that's the personality to gain. Of course, don't forget the phrase, simplicity.
Our creativity comes from without, not from within. We are not self-made. We are dependent on one another. And admitting this to ourselves isn't an embrace of mediocrity or derivativeness. It's a liberation from our misconceptions. And it's an incentive to not expect so much from ourselves and to simply begin.
Thank you so much. It was a very, very big pleasure for me being here with you. Here you have an evaluation form. And then I have to say, please help me to be more creative. You got to say whatever you want to tell me. Okay. Thank you very much.